Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Nothing to See Here podcast.
Did you forget what our
For
podcast name was?
for a moment, I was just telling Hannah this. I've been recording so much. Last week, I recorded a new episode of the Pack Rats. Yet last night, I recorded a new episode for the bonus series that I'm doing with Levi that I still haven't put out yet because I haven't finished editing the first episode. And now we're recording this, so I'm a little rusty on our name.
Plus, we haven't recorded in almost 2 weeks.
God forbid.
It was nice. It was nice to have a little time. I'm
No,
not
it
saying
wasn't.
it wasn't. What do you mean it
Hannah
wasn't?
texted us, both of us, while I was in Boston and was like, I don't know what to do with my life.
That's because I have no life. This is my one and only thing.
But like I mean I enjoyed a night of a Friday night or a Sunday night that I didn't have to record. I went to bed early actually.
I got high with Carrie.
Of course you did.
Hey, it's legal in Boston.
How was Boston over St. Patty's Day?
Honestly, we were in Salem on St. Patty's Day, and it wasn't too bad. It got more crowded, I think. I think it got more crowded the later it got, but there's not a lot of pubs in Salem either. So I will say the Saturday that we drove into Boston when we went to the Gardner Museum was a shit show. Frankie, I wanted to mention something.
Okay.
Baja has 2 new flavors out right now.
I know. I haven't seen them yet. I've been looking.
I have them.
Are they good?
Well, we had the Laguna
The lemonade.
one.
The mango lemonade flavor. Yeah, I know.
That was fucking delicious. It's Mom's
Okay.
new favorite flavor.
It is amazingly delicious. But Amanda kept burping when I picked her up today, and her burps smelled like the Mountain Dew that she was drinking.
That might be a bonus because that Mountain Dew smelled delicious. That should be their new slogan. Your burps will smell like our soda.
How's the other one? The tropical punch.
I'm trying it right now.
Well, we'll get a live update then.
You can update us on next week's episode, Frankie, because I'm assuming that there might still be some left for you when you go over to Amanda's tomorrow.
I'm gonna.
Well, I am probably gonna stop at Get Go tomorrow because we're gonna go to IKEA because I'm updating my art room. I will say, it tastes a little bit like watered down Hawaiian punch with fizz. Hold on, let's have the peanut gallery.
I'm eating chocolate ice cream, and you want me to drink soda.
Yeah.
It's not gonna taste good.
No.
Hold on. I need to cleanse my palate for a moment.
She's cleansing her palate.
Wait, no. I have my water.
You have water.
You know, we still haven't introduced ourselves on this episode.
You know,
no,
I
I'm
don't,
getting distracted.
I don't think it's necessary.
It is necessary.
Just say hi, I'm Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Wow, and you said it first. Hi, I'm Frankie.
Hey, it's Hannah.
All right, let's see how the peanut gallery likes it.
This is great audio content.
It is fizzy Hawaiian punch.
It's fizzy watered down Hawaiian punch.
No, it's not watered down. It's just fizzy Hawaiian punch.
I think it tastes a little watered down. I don't think it's as good as the lemonade.
It's very fizzy. It's very super fizzy.
Very bubbly.
So, all right. Well, that was an impromptu Mountain Dew review.
You're welcome. Mountain Dew, sponsor us.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
We're really manifesting a big old sponsorship there.
Yeah.
Well, if we got sponsored, I think Mom would request like a lifetime supply of that lemonade stuff. It's really good.
I don't think that'll happen, but okay.
Or, you know what I think we'd do? I'd request that they bring back that blueberry pomegranate kickstart. That was delicious. I miss that. I miss that so much. Hurts my soul how much I miss it, Franklin.
Oh
Well,
my god.
You can put that request in with your hurt soul.
Why does nobody care about
We'll
my
just
hurt
laugh
soul?
at you.
I care about your hurt soul. I just don't. I think that you should.
That I
It's
should
Mountain
what?
Dew. It's Mountain Dew.
You're Mountain Dew.
Thanks. That's nice
Shut up.
to say.
Shut up. You
Mountain
suck.
Dew's delicious.
You're the KFC Mountain Dew.
I like the KFC Mountain Dew, so thanks for the
What's
compliment.
wrong with you?
You know I like it. We've had this conversation before.
Oh no. You're incorrect.
That's like licking the floor of KFC. It's that gross.
It's not even It has nothing to do with KFC. It bothers me. It
All right.
bothers me that you like it.
Okay, well, be bothered then. Hannah, it's your episode.
He's incredibly sassy tonight.
He is sassy.
Hannah, it's
Yes.
this is what you get. Sorry, Hannah, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is what you get on a Friday night after a work week. This is after work, Frankie, who's had no time to relax.
You had time to relax.
I don't have time to relax.
Yeah, you did.
Not enough time to relax. 5 days of work and an hour to relax. Not enough time.
What time did you get off work?
I got
Mhm.
off work at 4. I didn't get home until like 5:20.
Okay, so that's 3 hours ago. What have you been doing for the past 3 hours?
I cooked
Well, you-
dinner. I went and made a grocery list. I had to find what I'm cooking for on Sunday, so I had to do then I made the grocery list. I'm talking a weekend of relaxation, not we record on a Sunday. That's a whole weekend of relaxation and then
Really?
recording.
We're recording on a Sunday later.
We are, but I'm saying that not tonight. That's
You're not tonight.
Tonight's the Friday. Okay, Hannah, what's going on? Hi, it's your episode.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, it is my episode. This is not just going to be a Mountain Dew review tonight. In
That would
fact,
be
this is
fun.
It'd be
why
short.
do you hate all of my episodes, Amanda?
What?
Why do you hate all of my episodes?
I don't. I know it's about vampires tonight. I haven't hated it yet. I didn't hate the first one.
Big implications there, Amanda.
I did. What? What do you want me to say?
All right.
I don't hate your episodes. I did hate the Jeff the Mongoose episode.
Amanda is so annoyed by Jeff the Mongoose. I told her I had a gift for her for tomorrow. And
Ooh.
I said it's a book from like the 60s. And Amanda goes, it better not be about Jeff the Mongoose.
That's exactly what I said.
That's beautiful. I hope it's about Jeff the Mongoose.
It's
I
not.
just not.
Get her something Jeff the Mongoose for Christmas.
No,
I
no, we're
will.
not.
Oh, yeah.
I will.
I hate all of you. You especially, because you're my mother and you're supposed to support me.
I'm the peanut gallery right now.
So what are we
Anyway.
talking about with vampires? We have vampires. That's it.
That's
Are they
the
gay?
asphalt.
We learned that.
No, are we more gay? Are we gaying it up more?
No, it's not gay tonight.
I think vampires inherently make it a little gay.
Well, after my first episode, yes. Because I went out the gate swinging saying all vampires be gay. So
Mhm.
technically, I guess it is a little gay tonight, but no. Welcome to my second interview for the title of the spooky one. As you already know, we're going back to our roots tonight and talking about vampires. So please give a warm welcome to the Highgate Vampire, all you guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
The what?
What?
The Highgate Vampire.
The Highgate.
Is this a real thing?
I need to get high to listen to this. I feel like
I don't know what the Highgate Vampire is. I've never heard of this.
Ooh, okay. So we're going across the pond to Highgate, a suburban area of London, England. We're going to be going back to the late 1960s, early 1970s, and
The 1970s vampire?
I'm gonna hit you. Be quiet.
yes,
No, to be fair, that's impressive. You never hear about vampires past the 1800s.
no, this is from the 60s and 70s. Most of our time tonight shall be spent in Highgate Cemetery. According to Wikipedia, approximately 170,000 people are buried there. Some famous people who are entombed here are Charles Dickens's immediate family, George Michael, poet Christina Rossetti.
Wait, George Michael is dead?
Oh my god, Frankie. Please tell me you're kidding. I hope you're kidding.
Yeah. He's been dead for a while.
A while.
How long's a while? How
Years.
Years.
Decades.
I didn't know this.
Maybe longer than us? Question mark.
Why is every Hannah episode just a new revelation for me?
I don't know.
Which is better, learning George Michael's dead or learning that I don't have a microwave?
Learning you don't have a microwave because I don't want someone. I didn't want him to be dead.
I got
Thank you.
two more famous people to mention before we get to our main story.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Author Douglas Adams is buried in Highgate Cemetery.
Who is
And
Douglas Adams?
He's an author. Did you not listen?
Yeah, but what have you
Hitchhiker's
read?
Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide
Oh,
to the
okay.
Galaxy.
I have read that only because I was forced to,
Why?
because I was in school.
Oh. They made you read that in school?
Yeah.
We had to read Tom Sawyer.
It was in college.
Oh, so you paid to read it.
Yeah, that's not the same
You
thing.
spent money to read this book.
Okay, that's just not nice.
What do you mean that's not nice?
I
Is
paid
this-
money to read Wuthering Heights and hated every minute of it.
Fuck you, Wuthering Heights is amazing.
Yeah, I love Wuthering Heights.
Go leave a hate comment on my blog.
Yeah, you
No.
wasn't wrong. It's bad.
You're wrong. Both of you are wrong. Both of you. Incorrect.
Who's the final famous dead person?
Oh, you know, just a little known person by the name of Karl Marx.
Whoa! That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, he's a huge.
Karl Marx have anything to do with the vampire?
No, he does not. It's the
Oh,
only time I'm
okay.
going to mention him tonight.
Oh, okay.
Just a
Interesting.
bit more background on Highgate Cemetery. It's pretty huge. It's 37 acres and split into two sections, those being the east and the west. And our story mainly takes place in the western section, which is the older section of the cemetery. If you have the chance, I highly recommend looking up pictures of this place because it's gorgeous. It was established in 1839, so you have a lot of Gothic architecture and the tombs. You have a lot of interesting monuments because there's a lot of authors and painters and artists in general who were buried here. And the cemetery is now a de facto nature reserve because there's tons of overgrown greenery from over the years, and all that greenery has become the home to many birds and small animals. Apparently, there are a lot of foxes who live in the cemetery, and I would love to see a fox while strolling around a cemetery.
I would love to see a fox any time of day.
I want to befriend a fox.
I want a fox as a pet.
I don't want either of those.
Why not?
A fox is like a cat-dog hybrid. I would love to have a fox.
It would be
Okay.
a corgi, but very much more cat-like.
No, thank you. Don't sigh at me.
But back
Alright.
in the 60s and 70s, Highgate Cemetery was not the Gothic dream it is today. It was at the time it was peak Satanic Panic over in England, and
Fuck
the
yeah.
cemetery. What did you say, Amanda?
I said, fuck yeah, Satanic Panic. I'm not allowed to get excited about that?
You can.
Okay, well, I am.
At the time, the cemetery was pretty run down. People broke in to desecrate graves. Graffiti was everywhere. Bones could be found hanging out of rotten coffins, and some coffins had even been set on fire by vandals. Don't do that. Don't desecrate graves.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh, that's actually not
What
nice.
is that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
There's, some people like to dance on people's graves. Certain people.
Yeah, I think it depends
There's-
on the person.
There's certain English people that are dead that sucked.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus, we should definitely dance on his grave.
He
Not
wasn't
British.
even-
Not
Yeah.
British, but
I know.
thanks for trying.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, I said I wasn't going off of your thing. I was going off of my thing. Shut up. Stop it.
Okay,
Frankie,
well,
cut this out.
famous British person Christopher Columbus.
You can dance on his grave. It's okay.
Cut this out.
No, that's staying in.
Do not desecrate graves though.
But don't,
by
like, desecrate,
lighting
just-
them on fire. Don't do that.
Don't harm just like a normal person's grave. Like just some
Yeah.
random dude. Don't do
You,
that.
you should know them. Or they should have done something really bad to you, like killed your mom.
Thanks.
You're not dead.
She was thanking
quiet.
you because you would desecrate the person's grave who killed her.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my god. Anyway, so who's doing this? Just teenagers? Just random teenagers?
Well, reportedly, there was a satanic sect that would roam around the cemetery after dark, and the sect was blamed for a lot of what happened. Yeah, but I just want to note that there was never any actual evidence of a satanic sect or anything of the sort in the area of the time of our story.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Hmm. But in general, this cemetery was not a safe place in the 60s and 70s. Weird stuff started happening, probably, as you said, Frankie, probably at the hands of stupid, bored teenagers, and people were quick to claim satanic rituals were occurring because these things happened in a cemetery.
My favorite satanic ritual is spray painting a grave.
Shut up.
Frankie, have you spray painted a grave before?
I've
course
never
you have.
spray painted a grave. God.
How are we this long in and already this out of hand?
Because it's
It's
a Friday.
This is why we don't record on Fridays, apparently. But speaking of getting out of hand, things got out of hand pretty quickly.
You don't say.
Yeah. From
Yeah,
my
that was an
research,
excellent transition.
what was that, Monique?
That was an excellent transition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, things are out of hand.
So from my research, one of the first sightings of the Highgate Vampire occurred in 1967. Two adolescent girls who were walking home past the cemetery claimed they witnessed, and I quote, the dead rising from their graves.
Me too.
Then more reports started coming in. An elderly woman claimed she had seen a tall, dark man with glaring eyes while she was walking her dog inside the cemetery gates. Another teen reported something cold and clinging to her hand, which left unexplained marks on it. There's even a report of blood leading up to the doors of a mausoleum that was never explained.
Maybe one of those
But
foxes.
could have been the foxes. No explanation for just a trail of blood. Could have been the foxes, though.
Interesting.
But most notable were those claims of a tall, dark man. Many reports came in of a tall, shadowy figure wearing a hat with red eyes that were hypnotic. He was always seen walking around inside the cemetery before he would melt through the walls. Unfortunately, we don't.
Who hasn't melted into a couple of walls every now and then?
I mean, it's just a rite of passage at this point. So there are tons and tons of reports and claims of people seeing things in Highgate Cemetery. Unfortunately, we do not have the time to get into all of them tonight, but there is one report that sounds like it was torn from the pages of Dracula. A young woman felt like someone was suffocating her in the middle of the night. After this occurred, she later started sleepwalking, and she also had 2 small punctures on her neck. During one of her sleepwalking episodes, her sister contacted a man by the name of Sean Manchester, and the two followed her. She got into Highgate Cemetery through a broken railing on the west side of the cemetery and walked to a crypt. She stopped and tore the crucifix she was wearing from around her neck. A booming sound was heard, and then she collapsed. The sister and Sean Manchester had to carry the victim home, and when she awoke, she couldn't remember anything.
Sounds like she had a wild party. She had a drunk night, got a hickey, wild night for her.
2 puncture wounds equal a hickey.
Okay, 2 puncture wounds. Okay. People, humans have canines.
Okay, did she suffer any blood loss?
Good question.
I don't know if he proved there was any blood loss in this case. I do
Sounds
not have
like
that.
Sounds like she got fucked up
Well,
on
let's
purpose.
Okay.
The on purpose kind of fucked up.
Who did she say did it?
Nobody knows.
She didn't like say anyone did this?
From what I've seen, there was never, she never named anyone, nor did it sound like she had a clue as to who could have been doing it.
Was she not awake when it happened?
She was sleepwalking. So she felt like pressure on her in the middle of the night, like someone was suffocating her. Never saw anyone though.
Amanda, you better be on the lookout for some vampires.
Why do I have to be on the lookout?
She was sleepwalking. Dumbass.
Fuck.
Two together.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, if they're attacking sleepwalkers.
Mm-hmm. Maybe your sleepwalking is caused by a vampire.
No. I think it's
Attacking a
just
sleepwalker's got to be an easy target for a vampire.
incorrect. Sleepwalkers are mean sometimes.
Did
Well,
this
let's
girl
talk-
really sleepwalk, or was she just making some shit up?
No, she was really sleepwalking.
I mean, she had a history of like sleepwalking.
No, not prior to these events.
Girl making shit up.
Well, let's talk about Sean Manchester for a minute because he's going to be a very important part to our story. Sean
Mhm.
said he was ordained by the Celtic Catholic Church, which has no relation to the Vatican, by the way. He's also a vampire hunter and is a descendant of Lord Byron, thanks to an affair Byron had with a maid back in the day.
That's cool.
Is it?
So he's an illegitimate bastard son of Lord Byron.
Yeah.
Ancestor of, yes.
Ancestor, descendant of Lord Byron.
Yeah.
So he's a nobody.
Yeah.
Whoa, I wouldn't say he's a nobody. He's Sean Manchester.
He is one of our main characters tonight.
I hate you.
Anyway, this man decides he wants to investigate Highgate Cemetery and hunt whatever or whoever was haunting it. And I do want to note here that he had been in contact with many young women, like the one whose story I previously told you. He was convinced there was a bona fide vampire running around Highgate Cemetery. In 1970, things turned deadly. Foxes were being found dead in the cemetery, their bodies found drained of blood, presumably from lacerations found at their throats. At this point, local newspapers began picking up the story. The figure or figures that had been seen had been labeled as gossip up to this point, and no credibility was given to them in the slightest. Up until now, that is. Hampstead and Highgate Express, a local newspaper, ran a story entitled, "Why Do the Foxes Die?" And in this story, it was suggested that the sightings people had been reporting for years and the fox deaths were related, all due to a supernatural entity. Now, this
The
story.
Wolfman.
I'm sorry.
The Wolfman.
Oh, it's not a vampire, it's a werewolf. Is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
I'm making jokes, but yes.
Okay.
It wasn't a
No.
funny joke.
I never said that I'm going to be funny. At any point in time when I came up with this crazy joke in my head, did I think I'm gonna say this because it's gonna be funny? I'm saying it because I have no filter and I want to say whatever the fuck I want to say. Hey guys,
Oh
real
my
quick.
God.
No, I'm sorry, Mom. Do you see Secret? He's in the corner. He's
He is.
he's in the corner. Take a photo of that, please.
It's like he's what's in the basement?
He put himself in timeout. He looks like he's in the Blair Witch Project.
Project. That's exactly what he looks like. Okay, that's just kind of eerie.
Well, it is a spooky episode for Hannah. Hannah, I think
Apparently it is.
I think your episode's getting to my cat.
Good.
He's
And
just
do take a picture. I want to see Secret in the corner.
Yeah, are you sending it? He's just sitting in a corner, like staring at the corner, like he put himself in timeout.
He's scared of the vampire of Highgate.
No, he's scared of Amanda.
What? I'm not a scary person. He's my baby.
He really did put himself in.
He put himself in the corner. Do you guys see it?
No, I'm not at your house. What?
She sent you a photo, dumbass.
I didn't get it. So
Oh, well.
no.
Puppy,
Well, it's coming.
are you mad that you don't have treats?
I'd be mad that we don't have treats. He's mad that they're killing foxes. Hannah, take this picture and post it on Instagram.
I will when the time comes.
Proof
I will.
proof of your spooky episode.
I'll save
It's-
it for then.
Ew.
It spooked my cat to the point where he Blair Witched himself.
On paper, "Why Do the Foxes Die?" sounds bonkers. A supernatural entity hunting foxes? Who would write such a story?
Is this like another question of like who put Bella in the witch elm? Why are the foxes dying?
Amanda.
What? That was a spooky reference.
That was an acceptable answer. Not the one I was looking for, but an acceptable answer.
Yeah, is it like a hoaxy thing, kind of? Because the who put Bella in the witch elm, I mean, there was a lady that was found in a tree, but we don't know if her name was Bella, and everybody thinks it's a hoax type thing. So I'm
Maybe
very
one day we'll
curious.
talk about that.
Yeah. Well,
Good
I'm just
topic.
very curious if the fox things were hoaxes.
No, they were actual
Zookeeper was killing
deceased
foxes to
foxes
make
being
dogs.
found.
Hey, you know what? Newspapers have probably done crazier things.
But seriously,
Anyway.
who would write this story?
I'm guessing the Byron guy.
It's not Sean Manchester.
It's his cousin, Sean Liverpool.
Shut up. I hate you. I hate that was funny.
Meet occultist, British psychic occult society investigator, and self-proclaimed magician, David Farrant.
I'm sorry, what was his last name?
Farrant.
Oh, I thought you said
Farant. Is how I'm saying Farrant. I don't know if that's how it's actually pronounced.
No, I thought you said ferret.
You thought I said ferret. That's not.
I thought yeah.
I really thought, like, I know he died in the 40s. I thought you were gonna say Aleister Crowley.
That would be a twist, but no. David wrote a letter to Hampstead and Highgate Express, aka Why Do the Foxes Die? And the paper published his letter in their February 6th, 1970 issue. In this article, David claims to have seen this dark, tall, shadowy figure that others had reported seeing after having gone to Highgate Cemetery. And he was at Highgate Cemetery to investigate these claims of our tall, dark, shadowy figure. And I may add, he did go alone to investigate.
He didn't follow the buddy system.
No,
yeah,
no buddy system for him.
That's a dumb thing to do just in general if you're going to a spooky place. That's just a dumb thing. Even if you don't believe in ghosts or whatever. Even in haunted houses where you know nothing's going to hurt you, you still take a buddy. No, he also didn't follow like the scientific thingy of like, hey, just because you saw it doesn't mean that we're going to believe that you saw it.
Well, right now we have to believe he saw it.
We don't. Don't tell me what to believe.
Well, he says that while he was there investigating, he sees the figure. The figure, according to David, is roughly 7 to 8 feet tall with inhuman eyes, and he did get hypnotized by the figure. To break his hypnosis, all he had to do was break eye contact.
Not a very good hypnotist, then.
Yeah, kind of
apparently
shitty.
not. But after that, the figure vanished.
He had
7 to 8 feet tall. Was he a basketball player?
Yeah, that's why he vanished. He had a game to get to.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like a really tall Nosferatu.
I will accept that description. That's a good description.
Do any of the reports ever say if he had hair or not?
No, it was always he was like shadowed, so you couldn't really see him all too well.
So he could just be a super lanky, tall Nosferatu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nosferatu was flickering the lights in SpongeBob. So of course he's gonna be dark and shadowy.
Do you really believe that happened?
Did you not watch the episode where Nosferatu was flickering the lights? I'm not the only one who imagined that, right? That's a real SpongeBob episode, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. This is a public space, woman.
Okay, so this guy, did he do this investigation before or after he wrote the article?
This was before he wrote the article, I believe.
So this is him doing research for the article.
Yes, because David is the reason why the story got as big as it did. When his article was published, he basically told people to write in with their own experiences regarding Highgate Cemetery, and people did. Like, that's how a lot of the reports and claims I mentioned earlier came out. It's all thanks to David's article.
So we could make a big story about Garfield's nightmare if somebody wrote a story about it and then said, hey, give us all your stories about Garfield's nightmare. And then we submitted a bunch of stories about our experiences in Garfield's Nightmare. I miss that ride.
Theoretically, yes.
I missed that ride because it was terrible.
Amanda, stay on track.
I have ADHD. And if you keep yelling at me, I'm going to leave. And I'm going to get really off track. So he wrote an article, and the article only got big because people actually responded to said article.
Yeah, it became this media frenzy, pretty much. And a lot of the sightings that were reported all had to do with that tall, shadowy figure with hypnotic eyes.
Maybe it was just a really tall dude that liked to go visit his dead family.
What about the red eyes? Pink eye. Yep. He's sick.
No. He could be albino.
I mean,
Could be high.
those are all
Could be high.
probably more likely theories than what happens after this.
Wait, something happens. So he writes the article and people respond.
Yes.
And then something happens.
He
Oh,
dies.
a lot of things happen.
Okay.
He dies.
It's at this point you have both David and Sean tracking this supernatural entity that is roaming the cemetery. Any guesses as to what these two do?
Oh my god, they're gonna shoot each other. They see like someone moving in the darkness and they shoot. They just fire. They've shot each other.
They don't shoot each other with guns, but I feel like you're not too far off.
They ran into each other.
They team up Avengers style.
They
Yeah.
team up. They agreed that something was afoot in the cemetery, so they began working together to solve this case. But things aren't simply this cut and dry. Oh, no.
They were
They-
fucking.
No. This is enemies to lovers without the lovers. They form a frenemy situation. They form a rival situation. They have this back and forth where they would insult each other in interviews and talk down about the other.
Were they teaming up? What?
They were still teamed up together to solve
What are you
this.
talking about? That sounds like a kink to me. Let me humiliate my partner on live TV. That'll make the bedroom more fun. That's a thing.
I thought the vampires were the ones that were supposed to be gay. Not the vampire hunters.
We're all a little bit gay.
Okay,
That's
so now
that better
They're
stay in.
teamed up, but they don't really like each other.
I guess that's smart to team up, but if you don't really like your teammate, doesn't help, does it?
No,
No.
because things get so chaotic from here on out.
Are there any like sports references of like teammates in sports hating each other, Franklin?
Shaq and Kobe didn't like each other, and it led to Shaq leaving the team, and they lost, or they could have won like more titles, and they didn't. So that's sad.
That is really sad.
A lot of the times it comes out that they didn't like each other like later, or they just act like they didn't like each other back then, but they really did. But they're trying to make money, so they come out and go, "Oh, actually, I hated that guy."
What about in wrestling? Does any wrestler who was ever tag teaming with somebody like hate that person?
I can't think of any on the top of my head.
I want to know what all of the chaos that ensues happens. So you guys shush so Hannah can talk.
I'm gonna continue to think it was.
Okay. Before I continue on, I do just want to interject here and say that after everything is said and done in our story, both Sean and David would talk about what happened in interviews and books, and each of them were trying to control the narrative. So I have to say at this point, things get a little confusing because you have like a he said, she said situation going on. And a lot of information is different across sources because Sean and David kept saying different things. So just take everything I say with a grain of salt past this point.
All you had to say was he said, she said. Ashley
Yeah.
Tisdale's best work to date.
Mhm.
I think I'm funny. Anyway, grain of salt. What happened? One person said that the other one peed his pants. The other person said, "Nuh-uh, that guy shit his pants instead."
I'm sure they said that at one point. You're probably not wrong.
All right. What happened?
Well, somehow, and I don't know how David and Sean got to this point, but they did. I don't know what their investigation and research was, but David and Sean come to the conclusion that there is a vampire afoot. No shocker there. This is called the Highgate Vampire, after all. My guess is Sean just kept yelling, "There's a vampire," and David was there like, "Sure, jam, sure." But here's
That
the
makes
kicker.
sense. That's a
Mhm.
sound strategy. God, these guys sound like idiots.
Yeah.
So did the people who believed in Jeff the Mongoose. Oh wait, that was you two.
Huh.
There's actual physical evidence of Jeff the Mongoose.
What physical evidence?
People spoke to him.
The wall existed.
Yeah, there's a wall, there's a house, there's a family.
God
There's a
damn.
film about Jeff the Mongoose.
Yeah, no one's making a movie about the Highgate Vampire. Although I would make a movie about the Highgate Vampire, but it would have nothing to do with the vampire. It would just be these two, but it would be enemies to lovers in the end.
Beautiful.
Are you sure there's no movie about the Highgate Vampire? I'm looking this up.
I think there are documentaries, like documentary movies, but I don't think there's a fictionalized version.
All right, I'm gonna look this up while you continue.
Here's the kicker. They disagree on what exactly the vampire is. They both call it a
What does that mean? A
Well,
vampire's a vampire.
they both call it a vampire to make things easy, but there are differences in their beliefs surrounding it. Either way, the Highgate Vampire finally gets his name. So what do our boys believe? You have David, who believes this vampire isn't the traditional vampire. This is not a Dracula or a Carmilla. He believes this to be a demonic vampire-like entity brought on by some dark ritual performed in the cemetery.
So not a vampire, a demon.
Yeah, pretty much.
So a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
The
But they
Highgate demon.
hmm And then you have Sean. Sean said all of Highgate's weird going-ons could be traced back to a king vampire from Romania, a la Bram Stoker's Dracula. A vampire who, much like Dracula, moved to England with the help of his supporters. And all that grave desecration from the start of the story was done for rituals in his name.
I like Sean's explanation better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me if you like what he does next. This man, during an interview, pulls out a crucifix, homemade wooden stakes, and announces that he's going to hunt and kill the vampire.
That's pretty cool. Although,
you go first.
Bold move, because if you don't then hunt and kill the vampire, you have recorded evidence you said you would. So you gotta do something.
Yeah. Also, he announces how you kill a vampire. Do you want to guess how that's done?
You put a stake through his heart.
You light him
make
on fire.
You make him a nice meatball sandwich with garlic on it.
All good guesses, but no. To kill a vampire, one must drive a stake through its heart with one blow just after dawn on a Friday or Saturday. Chop off its head with a grave digger shovel and burn what remains.
I'm sorry. You have a time limit?
Yep. You have one chance, one blow, and like 20 steps.
Just before dawn on Friday or Saturday.
Yep.
What if it's daylight savings time?
Oh. Well, dawn is like just when the sun starts rising, right?
Yeah, dawn is dawn. He never gives an exact hour, just says dawn.
What a weird little man.
He then also says, and I quote, "This is what the clergy did centuries ago, but now we'd be breaking the law."
Is it breaking the law to kill a vampire?
I think it's more the, abuse of a corpse situation.
Unless the vampire is not really a vampire and it's a person, then it's murder.
Does this guy get arrested?
No.
Well, Amanda, he would have had to actually like be competent enough to pull any of this off.
I mean,
he probably can't even wake up and be up by dawn.
I mean, are you sure he wasn't arrested for like trespassing or something?
Not in the course of our story.
It seems like it's a public cemetery, so
You would be correct. The cemetery is technically open to the public anytime, day or night.
By the way, just in case anybody was wondering, the Highgate Vampire appears as a villain in this Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And
It does. I forgot about that fun fact.
and the horror film Dracula AD 1972 was inspired by the Highgate Vampire.
But there is no actual film based
There's
on these events.
There's an Italian comic book series about it.
That's not a film.
that sounds fun though.
It does, but it's not a film.
Supernatural didn't do an episode about the Highgate Vampire?
I guess not.
That's very disappointing.
Bumpy the Vampire Slayer did.
Now, Sean is not done doing interviews.
Of
Oh,
course
God.
not.
In another interview, Sean claims that David was going to spend the night alone in Highgate Cemetery to kill the vampire.
I like that he volunteered David.
Mm-hmm.
Does David know that he has to kill her the exact same way that John said?
Does
No.
David know he's the one spending the night alone to kill the vampire?
Nope. Nope. David, later on in life, during an interview, said he never planned on spending the night in the cemetery, that there was never any plan or discussion of him doing so. Sean just blurted that out on TV.
I imagine that like one of them was really excited about a sleepover in a cemetery. Like he brought his sleeping bag and a tent and everything. And then the one guy doesn't show and he's like, oh.
You
Sean
might,
sounds a lot like my daughter, who just runs her mouth.
well, Sean really did not want a sleepover with David, because after saying that David was going to kill the vampire, Sean backtracks and says David actually wasn't going to be doing that because he was too weak and wasn't skilled enough to kill the Highgate vampire.
Jesus Christ.
It's a skill issue. I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
Some there's fighting
He
more.
threw this man under the bus for no goddamn reason.
Well, there was a
there was-
reason.
There's a reason.
Yeah. The reason is David said he was going to do, or Sean said he was going to do all this stuff. And then he goes, well, actually, David's going to do it. And when it doesn't get done, he goes, what the fuck, David?
David, you were supposed to do this thing, David.
Well, following this interview, which was aired on Friday, February 13th, by the way, hundreds of people from all over London with their homemade wooden stakes went to Highgate Cemetery on a vampire hunt.
Oh my
They
God.
they made a mob?
Yep. They stormed the cemetery. They broke police barricades and went into the cemetery for a vampire hunt.
That's amazing.
Well, they also, in the dark, they suffered from a mass hysteria because someone supposedly spotted something crawling around in the dark.
Did somebody die?
It was
No.
David. It was David just crawling
David
around.
and Sean were not even there.
What the
They were
fuck?
making out in the bushes.
But somehow, miraculously, thankfully, no one got hurt this night, despite storming police barricades.
That's good, at least.
Like there's that one little teeny tiny ounce of silver lining. So between mid-February of 1970 and then mid-August of the same year, there are no significant developments and no sightings seem to occur. So you have a few months of calm, of normalcy. And then in mid-August of 1970, 3 teenage girls come across the 100-year-old corpse of a woman who had been dragged from her coffin, charred, decapitated, staked through her heart, and left in the middle of the pathway.
I'm sorry,
inside
nobody
the
was
cemetery.
arrested for this?
No,
Well, they did it. David did it, or Sean did it. He killed the vampire. Nice
No
job.
one knows who did this, and no one like ever spoke up and admitted to this abuse of a corpse.
Sorry, Sean allegedly did it. Sean allegedly killed the vampire. Good on him.
Police were called, and the vampire hysteria picked up once again.
This is the 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah, we're in the 1970s.
So the police couldn't really do anything.
Oh, no. And the
No.
police were 110% responsible for the hysteria that picked back up after this event. Because instead of investigating and coming to the most likely correct conclusion that this had been done by teenagers who were being stupid because of all the vampire hunting that was stoked by Sean Manchester and the media, the police say that this was the cause of black magic and Satanism.
Yeah, because that's what Satanists do. They just love to destroy corpses.
Mm-hmm. And at one point during the story, police also did not want to go into Highgate Cemetery for fear of being hypnotized.
That is a real fear.
Sounds like these police were just morons.
Yeah.
The police did not want to do their jobs. So after this body was found, reports about strange happenings picked up once again. One woman claims she was thrown to the ground by a tall, cloaked figure. This is a troubling development.
Is it?
Yes, because up until this point, whatever or whoever was running amok in the cemetery was being creepy and just scaring people. That's all true, but this is the first time that someone was hurt. Yeah.
You think maybe she just like fell and tried to cover it up? Like everyone saw her.
She was on a date in the cemetery and tripped in front of her date.
She's hanging out with her friends, and the boy she likes like is there too, and then she falls and she's like, "You didn't see it? There's this dude, a cloaked figure. He threw me down to the ground."
I mean, we don't know, but this is the first time a report has been aggressive.
Well, that one girl got bit.
Yeah,
that's
but that was
true, but that came from Sean Manchester, so.
But Sean clearly knows how to kill vampires, so it's fine.
And it was sexy.
Is being suffocated sexy?
Getting
Some people like it. Some people like it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, everything can be sexy in some context.
Well, on August 17th, 1970, David and the rest of the British Occult Society investigators enter Highgate Cemetery to hold a seance and maybe an exorcism if they're lucky.
Jesus
I'm sorry. Wait, is this David or Sean? It's David.
This is David.
Okay, yeah, David was the one who thought it was a demon. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to say, that's not how you get rid of a vampire. You can't
this is
exorcise
David.
them.
Yeah. In the spot where the Highgate Vampire first appeared, the crew drew a large circle which they sealed with protective symbols, salt, and holy water. Inside this circle, they drew a second circle and included candles and incense.
How'd they know the exact spot?
Second circle.
Put like a historical monument marker down, or?
Yeah, someone put a note there.
Okay.
I saw the Highgate Vampire here on this date. The second circle is where they expected the demon to appear. And as soon as they started their seance, the police showed up and David was arrested and found to have a wooden stake in his possession.
So someone was arrested from all this.
Yeah.
David was technically arrested, but he was acquitted the following year because the cemetery, as I said, was legally open to the public at any time, day or night.
But he was arrested.
And so you can just legally just like hold a exorcism in a cemetery?
I guess. I would not recommend holding an exorcism or a seance at a cemetery. I feel like that is not a good choice.
If you believe in ghosts and demons, right?
Well, I thought you weren't supposed to do that, like, in, like, sacred ground. I thought that was one of the rules.
I don't know the rules.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in any of it, but also, if you do believe in it, I would think
it could be a made-up rule made up by horror media. I'm not sure where I heard this.
I would think you wouldn't want to do it where there's like potentially just so many chances for a demon to show up.
I don't know. I don't have the answers to those questions. we're nearing the end of our story now. By the end of 1973, David and his group had given up its investigations of the vampire as no evidence or demon was ever found. Sean Manchester continued on. And in the 1980s, Sean claimed to have finally found the king vampire and ended its undead life. In an abandoned house close to Highgate, he and his assistant found a black casket which they dragged outside the house, kicked off its lid, and drove a wooden stake through the vampire's heart. He claims there was a fearful scream as the body turned into brown slime, and the body and casket were then burnt. He's not following the rules he set out earlier.
Yeah, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are the rules for if you find a vampire in a cemetery. This is if you find a vampire in a casket in a house.
Shut
In
up.
an abandoned house.
Different rules,
Mm-hmm.
different locations.
He also intended for this to have been filmed by his assistant. But during the event, the assistant forgot due to the pandemonium and excitement.
I thought you were going to say he left the lens cap on. He got some really great footage of his foot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The rivalry between David and Sean is said to have reached a head in 1973. In 1973.
Wait, didn't they already kill the vampire?
In 1980.
Oh, okay.
In 1980, sorry. I jumped a little forward and now we're jumping back. In 1973, Sean claimed David practiced black magic and thus turned the general public against David.
Well, he did
Sean-
practice black magic.
That one exorcism?
Yeah.
Is that black magic?
I mean, we don't know.
Priests do that.
I don't think he practiced black magic. I don't think so.
Well, priests do exorcisms. Do priests?
Yes, you have to be ordained and approved by the Vatican.
Because it's black magic?
It's not, I don't think it's considered black magic. No.
Considered taboo.
But he also did a seance, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Which
priests don't do
also is not,
seances.
it's not, a seance is not black magic.
It's gotta be. You're talking to dead people. You can't just go around talking to dead people willy-nilly.
I bet you could.
There are phone apps where you can supposedly talk to the dead.
Yeah.
There are
By the
apps?
way,
Yeah.
That's cool.
by the way, nobody fucking, like, when I die, nobody fucking try and contact me. Let me sleep.
I'm gonna leave
Please
you
try to
so
contact
many.
me. I want to be chaotic.
I'm gonna leave you so many voicemails.
What, via Ouija board?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, in 1973, Sean publicly challenges David to a magical duel that was set to take place on a Friday the 13th at Parliament Hill in Hampstead.
That's amazing.
There were actual ads used to advertise the duel. And then at some point, the media was stating that this duel would involve blood magic or blood rituals and naked virgin sacrifices.
Yeah, naked virgin sacrifices.
Sadly, no magic duel ever took place.
Boo.
The
No
pair-
naked sacrifices?
No naked virgin sacrifices.
That's not fun.
Mm-mm. It's said that David and Sean settled their differences prior to the fight. One story about why the duel was called off, and the most likely, in all honesty, is that as David was being painted as the villain, he called it off in fear of what the public would do to him. It's then said that Sean hosted a public exorcism on David's wicked magic in place of the duel.
I'm sorry. This happened in a suburb of London, right?
Correct.
Did this entire area of Britain just go through like mass hysteria?
Well, it was a peak Satanic Panic time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I don't remember in peak Satanic Panic time of America them thinking that the Satanists had summoned a vampire.
I mean, we don't know what happened down south.
But that's true, but like this has publicized evidence
Mm-hmm.
that they riled people up enough to have a mob form
Yeah.
and challenged each other to magic duels.
Time to circle back to our old friend, the Highgate Vampire.
He's dead.
Well, the Highgate Vampire hysteria slowly died off. And there's sadly no proper closure to the story as no one knows what occurred exactly.
What do you mean
Was
there's
there-
no proper closure?
It just kind of died off.
Because
People forgot about.
Sean killed him.
You mean David?
No,
Wait.
didn't Sean
Wait, oh
have
yeah,
the-
Sean. I get them
yeah.
mixed up.
Sean went into the house and killed him.
Yeah, in the 1980s, yeah. But the media frenzy and mass vampire hysteria died off.
That's not
Was
fun.
there a ghost? Was this the result of a satanic sect and rituals? Was there a king vampire from Romania?
That
Was it a
one.
demonic entity? Who knows? It was probably humans. Let's be real.
It was a king vampire from Romania, and our boy Sean killed him. Sean and his assistant, who unnamed assistant. We
Yes,
don't know the
unnamed
assistant's name.
assistant.
We should give the assistant a name. I feel like that's disrespectful.
I don't think he has a name. I think he's just assistant.
What would you want him to be named? Let's brainstorm some names for this man.
Brom.
Brom,
Mm-hmm.
like
Bram
Stoker.
Bram Stoker.
All
Yep.
right, Brom and Sean put their lives on the line to kill this king vampire.
Sure. They were going to film it. Had every intention of filming.
Yeah, they just forgot. I'd get excited too if I was about to kill a vampire.
Well, speaking of David and Sean, the pair had beef all the way up until David's death in 2019.
Jeez.
And
Why?
apparently, Sean still has beef with David to this day and slanders him on Facebook.
How old is this man now?
Sean?
Yeah.
He's
I-
22.
I believe they were both in their 20s when this occurred.
And he's never aged. Makes you think about who the real vampire was.
So you're asking me to do math. So they would be like 70s? Is that correct? Is that correct math?
I don't. Maybe.
This happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
And they were 20 back then.
Yeah, so 30 years would make it the 2000.
And then another 20 years. Yeah, there'd be their 70s.
Yeah. So that happens on Facebook, apparently.
I like that. I think that's
Leave
funny.
the dead man alone.
Well, I'll end on a lighter note. In 1975, the Friends of Highgate Cemetery Trust was established. The group now owns and maintains the cemetery, thus making it the Gothic dream it is today. You can donate to the cause, buy tickets to visit, and go on tours of the cemetery where you'll hear about all the famous people buried there and hear about some ghosties. And that is the tale of the Highgate Vampire, and mainly of David and Sean. Enemies to lovers without the lovers.
They were
That's
lovers.
that's the saddest part of this story.
That it wasn't a proper enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that.
I
Hope
really
you enjoyed a
that.
spooky story. To
I
be
think that
fair,
was a great story.
I don't know. Again, if I would call it spook. Well, I guess I have to because my cat went all Blair Witch.
yeah. Which, if you want to see Secret being a little Blair Witch cat, that'll be on Instagram at some point.
I
I
have his permission.
can't believe that all of that happened.
And you've never heard of it.
I've never heard of this. Like, I believe you that it happened, but
It's a bonkers story. It's truly bonkers. I feel like I've left you two speechless.
A little
I-
bit.
I didn't expect to hear about magic duels.
With blood rituals and naked virgin sacrifices.
That was shocking.
Hmm. Well,
I
that
didn't-
was started by the media.
I didn't expect. Like you said, Satanic Panic. I was like, I know what's gonna happen here.
No, you
That's-
don't. No,
That's
you
not at
don't.
all what I thought was gonna happen.
Nope.
That was an amazing story.
It was a bitch to write my notes for.
It sounds
We
like it.
we need to make a movie about Sean and
About
David.
this?
Not about. I don't give a shit about the vampire. I just want a movie about Sean and David.
Okay.
Fuck the vampire. Who cares?
There was no vampire. It was
So-
called the Highgate Vampire, and there was no vampire.
Yeah, it's all about the love between Sean and David.
And it really is a great love.
This is like a romance story disguised
Yeah.
as a horror movie.
Better than Romeo and Juliet.
You think they're a better couple than Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
They just
That's
kind of
saying something.
they just kind of bullied each other. To be fair, it feels like Sean was just really bullying David.
Yeah.
Didn't really hear about David doing anything to Sean. We know who the dominant was then. I think your last application, Hannah,
Mm-hmm.
the
My glitch in the
Mandela
Matrix.
effect. Yeah, the glitch in the Matrix. Not a successful application.
Rude.
Wasn't really creepy.
Nope.
This,
Okay.
however, this was creepy.
No, again, give me something scarier.
What do you mean it wasn't creepy? I think this was very successful.
Do I officially have the title?
I think so. You had an
I'm
attack.
officially the spooky one.
You had an
No.
attack on a girl. Wait,
You
no,
need both
listen.
of us.
Listen, no, you don't. No, you had an attack on
You
a
said
on a
that
young.
the last time that you need both of us.
I lied. You had an attack on a. This is our split. This is our Sean and David split right now.
What? You know what? You know what? Hannah can get one more chance from me.
You had an attack on a young woman. You had a mob. You had black magic duels and virgin sacrifices. You had seances. You had exorcisms. You had
I fell asleep during all that.
a vampire attack. Well, not
Yeah.
a vampire attack. You had an attack on a vampire in his own home. Brutal. You had a burnt corpse.
Yeah, that's the most tragic part of the whole story was that poor woman.
Yeah, why
It's
did they
not-
do that?
You
No
come
reason.
to me. Come to me with murder.
That
Uh,
was murder.
There was
She was
abuse
already
of a
dead.
corpse.
It was close to murder.
Not the same.
Hey, if she had been alive, she would have been dead.
But she was dead, so she's dead.
Yeah. So if she was already dead. It's not. Come to me with a murder story, and I'll give you the credit of a spooky one.
Okay, so I've been hired, but I have to prove myself to Amanda. Is
Right.
what I'm hearing.
I come to me. There was a murder.
Who was murdered, Franklin?
Sean murdered a vampire.
There's no proof of murder.
They almost filmed it.
Is there proof?
Almost.
Okay,
No,
that's still not proof. Hey, if I show you a video of almost a ghost, are you gonna believe that?
Almost.
No. No, you're not. Don't even.
I'd almost believe it, and then I wouldn't. But that's different.
No, it's not.
It is. You showed me a video of an almost ghost. There's no video at all here.
What video did I show you of an almost ghost?
That was your hypothetical. All right, never mind.
Amanda,
Mm-hmm.
in 8 weeks, I will come back with another spooky story for you.
8 weeks. What about your next episode?
I don't want to do a spooky episode.
That's fair.
I have a fun topic decided upon, but it won't be spooky.
All right. Well, is there anything else to add about this Highgate Vampire?
I'm so done with the Highgate Vampire.
I
I've been
enjoyed
looking
this.
at those notes for like the past 3 weeks, trying to make it make sense.
I enjoyed learning about the Highgate Vampire.
I taught you about a freak of history.
Yeah, there's quite a few freaks in this story.
I'm sorry, I'm encroaching on your territory.
No, it's fine. This was fun. This was enjoyable.
This is a good way to kick off the weekend.
This is like a nice story to tell around the campfire.
It's what I'm going to tell Amanda's kids. when they come over to visit Aunt Hannah.
What about Frankie's kids?
Well, I don't know if Frankie wants kids.
We'll see how I'm feeling about him.
Well, they can also come over and learn about the Highgate Vampire from Aunt Hannah.
I'll have a dog. You can tell the dog
Oh, okay.
about the Highgate Vampire.
Secret heard that, and he's very upset with you.
What, that I'll have a dog?
Yeah,
I could have some cats too.
he looks more pleased.
No, well,
Is he
anything.
still in the corner?
No, we moved him because Mom felt bad for him.
Aw.
So let's wrap up and take care of business. Next week is Amanda's episode.
Yeah, and by next week we mean Sunday.
Well,
Well,
no,
it's next week for
we mean
listeners.
next week.
Next week for listeners.
Yeah. I'm not uploading early. So, Amanda, what are we doing next week?
Well, we're gonna do the Reluctant Dragon this time. Back in the Disney kick.
All right.
I'm excited
Reluctant
for this
Dragon.
one.
Yeah, I am too.
I've
I'm a-
never
I'm a
watched
little
The Reluctant
reluctant
Dragon.
about it.
Shut up.
I never even heard of it until Amanda brought it up.
See, I hadn't either, and that's why I'm excited to watch it. Of course, I've been by eating my words tomorrow when I watch it.
Yeah. I thought Fantasia was going to be good. Oof.
Yeah, not as great as we thought it was gonna be, was
Everyone-
it, guys?
Everyone raves about that movie.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
I gave it a 2 out of 5. I've been using Letterboxd to log my movies that I watched this year. And I got a 2 out of 5.
I would give it a solid 3.
So let's take care of some business then, and but be sure if you want to listen to this episode with full context, watch The Reluctant Dragon
Yeah.
before next week's episode. With that being said, remember to, if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to subscribe, like, and comment. If you're listening to us on Spotify, remember to follow the show and leave a review.
5 stars only.
If you would like to give us some comments about the show, if you'd like to make a suggestion on a topic, if you'd like to ask us a question, you can do so at our email, which is
Nothing to see here podcast at gmail.com. As always, here is spelled HEAR.
if you would like to see that picture of Scared Secret or any other memes that are uploaded by Hannah or some of the fun work that is done by Amanda, you can
There's Frankie in
follow.
a mongoose costume.
There's me in a mongoose costume. Yeah.
You can follow us on our Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram as Nothing to See Here Pod. We do trivia on Friday afternoons on our Instagram stories. You'll see, as Frankie said, you'll see artwork by Amanda. Most recently, him in a mongoose costume, the long-awaited mongoose piece.
You're welcome.
It's a good
It's
piece.
the best. It's the best thing you've ever drawn.
All right. Ouch.
No, I say that with love.
It's definitely not the best thing I've ever drawn.
Well,
But-
it's my favorite.
That's different. You didn't say that.
Well, I think it's the best piece, and it's my favorite.
Remember to share the show with your friends.
Send this episode to your enemy who you want to be your lover.
Send this to Sean. We're not talking about the Sean the sheep. Go back to sleep.
Sean has a Facebook page, so he might know how to work the internet. Why do you hate David, Sean? Let me know. Send us that at the email if you're listening.
Yeah, please do.
Why do you hate David?
What did he do to you?
I think that's it. That's all the business to take care of. So, goodbye and good night, everyone. It's Frankie.
It's Hannah. Done with this shit.
Oh, Jesus. That wasn't that bad. And I think I'm gonna go hang out in a cemetery.
Can I
Oh.
come?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Frankie, you wanna join us?
No, I'm tired. I'm not gonna do that.
Boo.
Wimp.
Just like hold the mongoose picture up and imagine that I'm there.
It's not the same.
It's pretty lifelike.
No, it's not the same.
All right. Well, good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.